was Eve called Isha from Ish and not Adamah from Adam? 8. How can we prove from here that the world was created using Hebrew as the original language of man? How do we know that our holy scriptures are not a translation from some other language? 9. Why would man follow his wife, and not prefer the natural, genetic bond with his father, seeing that they are both made of the same material? 10. Why is unabashed nudity reported as something praiseworthy rather than the reverse? Chapter 2. Some philosophers thought that true love can exist only between opposites. Dry earth requires and longs for water, moisture. Water-laden skies, clouds, need to empty themselves on earth. On the other hand, all craftsmen are jealous of one another. Aristotle on the other hand holds that likes are attracted to each other. Starlings keep company with ravens as they are of a kind, Schulin 65. Since GD is neither similar to man nor totally his opposite, some hold that a love relationship with GD is impossible. But the prophet Malachi 1,2 says, GD says, I have loved you Israel, and I have hated Esau. How can you question this? Based on the premise that I am neither like you nor your exact opposite. More about this in chapter 90. The fact that two brothers, Jacob and Esau, who by nature should be similar, are treated so differently, proves that character traits rather than genetic affinity, i.e. outwardly similar human beings, determine between whom love occurs. Love has positive and negative aspects. Inasmuch as even trees have been compared to humans, especially fruit-bearing trees, their destruction has been prohibited, Deuteronomy 20,19. Animals which share even more with human beings than trees, seeing that they are living creatures, must not be destroyed needlessly and must not be made to suffer even when their destruction is in order and serves a higher purpose, Baba Metzia 32. Examples are consumption by humans, which is restricted in the case of the mother animal and its young, which are not to be slaughtered on the same day. Mother birds must be dispatched before the newly hatched chicks may be taken. An animal needs to be at least 8 days old before it may be slaughtered as a sacrifice to GD, etc. Such considerations apply in even greater measure when dealing with fellow human beings, regardless of any formal agreements to that effect. Torah legislation, when dealing with the status of Gentile slaves, is most specific in detailing the degree of concern that must be shown for the physical well-being of such a slave. This mutual love for fellow human beings is observed in increasing measure when these humans are part of the same race or environment. The Torah emphasizes the positive aspects of love by commanding love your fellow man like yourself, i.e. when that fellow man is similar to yourself, Leviticus 19:18. Love is not demanded for those utterly unlike you, such as animals etc. In fact, the feelings which we reserve for things or creatures unlike us is not love, but goodwill, pity etc. See Psalms 102. We relate to the stones of Zion as something that we want, not as something that we love. The latter term would be a complete misnomer for phenomena not on our level. When Isaac asks Esau for delicious dishes the way I love them, Genesis 27,4, the term love does not describe the dishes, but the people whom he loves. He is saying to Esau, when you do what I like, El will love you. Proof of this is found in the verse, Genesis 25,28, Isaac loved Esau because he carried venison in his mouth. The term love cannot rightfully be applied even to parts of the body. Such parts become nirtza, appreciated, and may become the instrument through which their owner becomes beloved. The term ritzon, goodwill, appreciation, refers also to the parts of whole things which qualify for love. For instance, Psalms 19:15. May the words of your mouth engender goodwill. The term love is reserved for the whole person. Love the Lord your GD, love your fellow man like yourself, i.e. identification with the other party is love. Such an identification is based on a complete appreciation of the other's qualities. This is what GD describes when he said to Abraham, "Take your son, your only one, the one whom you love." Genesis 22:2, love cannot survive when one of the parties undergoes a drastic change either in moral or physical stature. Jonathan volunteered to become David's deputy, to enable his love for David to survive, Samuel I 23:17. For the appreciation of the foregoing, GD required a covenant from the Jewish people, in order to maintain the love relationship that existed and to warn Israel that unless a mutuality of interests and the deeds arising from that mutuality of interests was maintained, the love relationship would disintegrate. The factors which were mutual, i.e. the common denominator between GD and Israel, were Torah, sanctuary, temple, and priesthood. These factors were needed to ensure that by concentrating on them, both GD and Israel would maintain their identity of purpose. When people try to upset this love relationship others have with GD, it is like craftsmen who are jealous in their hearts of fellow craftsmen, seeing that we are all children of one Father. 2. Since in the animal kingdom the sole purpose of mating is the progeny, it was sufficient for the males and females of the species to have been created independently of one another. After all, their union had no purpose beyond the physical. Since man was to establish civilization and close cooperation between the males and the females would be necessary, it was deemed right to equip them with the maximum number of common characteristics, so that they would be able to identify with one another. 3. This is the meaning of it is not good for humans to be separate, i.e. for the male and the female to have separate origins. Adam's helpmate therefore will be made in a way that will enable her to become his full partner in all his tasks. In chapter 2:19, the word Vayetzer spelled with only one letter Yud when the animals are being created, stresses the word from the earth, whatever was created from earth was without soul, and when presented before man he could immediately understand that their very nature was merely nefesh chaya, living matter, but not spirit, no intellect. It remained for Adam only to distinguish individual differences and name them accordingly. Naturally, he found no mate among these creatures. 4+6, he was put to sleep in order a. to avoid the pain of the operation, b. so that the surprise when he awoke and found a mate would make him rejoice. This is one of the reasons our sages call someone who finds a wife as having made a find. Adam found what he had missed so far, and had been hoping to find. Taking one of his own sides, created the strong chibur, bond, that we have discussed as being the basis of mutual love. 5. The term binyan, building, emphasizes that not mere mechanics were involved. Just as the cabinet maker who constructs a chair and a table of cedar wood